What's up, ladies and gents, Noli here. Welcome to another Payday video. Again, Crime Wave gameplay in the background. Having rendered out the first few videos, this should be the second day of the Hoxton Breakout solo overkill gameplay, so some pretty exciting gameplay on there in the background. It's going to be roughly 20 minutes long. I'm not going to be able to talk for 20 minutes, no way. My voice just won't be able to handle it, so I'm going to stick some music on the end, and hopefully you guys can just enjoy watching the gameplay if you're interested. Otherwise, just stick around for the commentary, because today we're going to be talking about the future of Payday, the potential of a Payday 3, DLC and future pay models, and also how the development Starbreeze are making, particularly with virtual reality, are likely going to affect Payday. So, let's start things off by a quick mention of the virtual reality. If you guys watched one of my recent videos in this series, it seems strange saying that because I've not loaded any of these yet. I haven't left yet. I'm just recording these almost one after another. But I did talk in a video you might have seen a couple of days ago about Star VR and the Walking Dead experience and how that's all meshing together, and how most notably there's not going to be a great number of developers wanting to produce for this virtual reality system. At least at launch. It's going to be basically Overkill's pet project. So all games Overkill makes are going to have to be suitable for this. For it to be, even vaguely profitable commercially. They're relying on the success of Payday and probably the weight of the Walking Dead name as its title. So those are the two main factors. So how is virtual reality going to affect Payday? Well, I think it could be brilliant. I really do. I think Payday is a sort of game that can suit virtual reality. Yeah, it's not got the horror elements that the zombie games have, and I keep hearing that horror is really the pinnacle of virtual reality. But, a precision-based first-person shooter with a lot of action, a lot going on, could really suit that 210-degree field of view and what they're doing with Star VR. So I definitely think some of that is in mind, and it's something I'd love to try out if things go that way with the Starbreeze virtual reality system. So, Payday 2 certainly is almost positively going to have some functionality with Star VR when it comes out, probably sometime in 2016. And we know Payday is still going to be developed over that period because we're still expecting more DLCs. Don't forget, Golden Grin is the last of the dentists, but we are still expecting more from the Butcher. There's still more story stuff to consider. Where's Gage gone? There was actually a picture recently I saw of Almir with Gage's actor, who's my favourite actor from the Payday series. So I'm sure Gage is around and about, and we may find out some things about that in the future. And, the true motives of the dentist. I look forward to it. And so, story-wise, DLC-wise, full big content, heist editions. There's a lot still coming, and I'm sure those will be augmented with free updates and weapon DLCs. Don't forget, we're still waiting for the big old Totally Overkill pack. Was that what it was called? Can't remember. Like I said, these are casual commentaries. I'm allowed to make these terrible mistakes. This will be a start over, by the way, in any other video. But we bought that pack, and we're still missing one big aesthetic, unique thing that we've been promised. So we've still got that to look forward to. And of course, the big secret that, has been teased, talked about, ignored for a while, brought back up, that's still floating around. So, Payday 2 still has a lot of life in it. And I think I've talked about this before, but with Payday 2's success and popularity and sort of breakout as a major, potentially AAA title, there was a lot to be gained from the potential release of a Payday 3 very soon after, relying on the big community that Payday has undoubtedly fostered. So many people have played the game. I think it's mainly due to phenomenal Steam sales, Valve's support, but also the re-releases seem to have been popular, and I assume seem to be selling quite well. So Payday has, approached a wide audience. It's a very smooth, functional first-person shooter with great co-op elements, which people do love. It does co-op as well as almost any other game that I can think of. So there's a lot to move forward with this title. I'm not denying that there are a million things that I would like to add and change within Payday. tiny little things just to improve the experience, to make it that more unique. And I'm sure Overkill shares many of these opinions and would love to do the things themselves. And that's why, Payday 3, there is a lot of room for development. People who say, they should make a TF3. Where's the room to develop on their formula? It's minuscule. Payday, on the other hand, has a lot of room to grow. And the way they've chosen to grow it, and I do like this, and it looks like it's working as a double-edged sword now, but what they've chosen to do is develop their game, keep making money, and fund the development of the game through these DLCs, which have almost ended up being considered microtransactions and being hated by half the community. But what it's allowed them to do is bring a lot of content to the game, make it the game they wanted it to be, and don't forget how many really good free updates we've seen. Some of the best heists were free. So I think generally the support has been great, and I remember Almir saying this, as opposed to push forward a release of a Payday 3 and look like a big corporate cash-in, they chose to continue to nurture this game, but in doing so, some of the audience thinks, hey, they're just milking it for all it's worth, and the other half thinks, I'm relieved they continue to develop this game I love and I bought very, very cheap. All the DLCs were crazy cheap recently. I don't know, they were 75% off. I've got them all, but I know loads of people will pick them up. And they're great value for that money. So if you're a player on Steam, Payday is, it's a budget game, really, with a lot of content, a lot of hours for what you pay. But there is still that sort of nagging sense that the Overkill want to keep making money out of these DLCs, that people keep emphasizing, and the fact there's never been a surrounding pay model, the ability to buy a season pass, and I utterly understand why there hasn't been, and in many respects I'm behind that. So the growth of Payday 2 has been phenomenal, if you ask me. The difference between the game, I just think the difference between the game when I remember playing it on launch and in closed beta to what we have now at the release of Crime Wave. Like, if I remember, Payday got a Metacritic score of just over 70 plus. I mean, now it's got to be 80s, 90s. The difference is worlds apart. Yeah, the Xbox glitch has plagued so many of us, but even so, there's so much to do, even on your own. Solo stealth being so much fun, and even, you guys, I want to thank you because you've made the heisting parties a real success. I'm about to go on and run my very first, as soon as I finish recording this commentary, my own personal heisting commentary, or party I should say, and doing some live comms with that. So that's stuff you're going to see later on in the week. But I really think Payday has developed successfully, functionally, in a way that's kept making Overkill and Starbreeze money. And so, who can deny them their sustainable game that they've crafted to be their own? But as far as Payday 3 is concerned, and it's been thrown around, I sometimes find that Overkill is the developer team that is one of the absolute closest to its players. It always feels like Overkill, as a company, plays their game, which is so important to me. Which is why there's been a lot of excitement about the potential of Payday 3. I'd get excited for Payday 3, and that is exactly why I feel that guys at Overkill like discussing it and, have bounced words around. Obviously, Almir put aside any speculation and said, no, we're going to focus on The Walking Dead, we're going to focus on Payday 2, and maybe somewhere in the distant future a Payday 3 could come out. And I generally think that they have approached it in the best and absolutely most mature fashion possible. And I hope that Payday 3 does come out and ends up being a phenomenal game. The chances of our Payday coming out, though, I think it all rides on the shoulders of, first of all, the VR. Does virtual reality succeed as a concept? Is it really a race that the developers think it is? Is the Walking Dead game any good? And then there are other future projects Overkill have talked about that they need to retain a stable reputation as a community-focused company, and then their Payday game will come out. It will be received well. I'm almost positive of it. So that's my feelings on a potential sequel to Payday 2. Potentially something more story driven, but that's abstract concepts. I've basically just talked about the idea of them making it, why they'd make it, why they haven't. What I'd like to talk about is what I would improve, what I'd implant within the game, what I would do to make it more enjoyable. And I don't want to just jump on and say, make it open world, open up the lobbies so there's more cooperation. These are all things that I think if a future game were to come out and it would have to be different enough from Payday 2 to warrant another release, but also keep those wonderful core mechanics and cooperation. So we would need much bigger scale heists. We would maybe need a 7-day heist. It was in their mind at the release of Payday 2. Let's better be safe than sorry. Let's put a big, long heist in. If they could make an elaborate heist, somewhat of the scale of GTA, but well compacted in the way that Big Bang, or maybe another good heist, which is large but also well formed. I'd say the bomb heist as well. Like they keep it like that, but also have a much wider, open, freeform area with less rigid, less diesel feeling. Diesel is, of course, the engine. Mechanics, Payday has always felt, very similar to the Source engine games. Like, there's no real interactivity other than press X to interact with, button here. We've seen it a lot recently in games, the ability to climb and maneuver around. You even see it on the AI in Payday. You see Hoxton jumping up walls. Why can't we? Why can't we have a bit more mobility and freedom in the heist so that things aren't just a little more rigid? You'll notice this when you watch very good, very experienced Payday players, especially stealthers. They jump around the map using every shortcut, every slight bit of misdesign that allows you to jump from rail to rail. Well, why not make Payday so that is a proper design feature as opposed to something that just the very experienced players can enjoy? So that's one place where I'd really step it up. I'd also probably consider some form of competitive modes, an expansion of how the game plays. Yeah, more heists with more different features, more stealing, but also a little more meat and variety as opposed to we do this heist, it goes well. We do this heist, it goes well. I'd love to see Payday expand on that. Gun mechanics, they're so important. I think it's one of the biggest allures of Payday for me these days because there have been so many great gun designs, so many different guns working differently thanks to the DLC they've created. It's so important to me that Overkill in any future installments of the game continue to make their weapons feel weighty but also interesting and different. And the possibility for, I hate to say this, but destructible environments. It's another thing that Payday 2 has always felt like it's lacked a little bit. I was watching gameplay from Uncharted 4, and I've not really played anything to do with that series. I was just watching the trailer, and I was like, oh my god, the way this world is being destroyed makes for such an exciting, but also mechanically complex experience, and I'd love to see that kind of thing added to the gunplay of Payday. Obviously, stealth as well. Stealth would have to be developed on. While the stealth mechanics are cool, they're very niche and different. They're not realistic at all. Maybe we should go for a little more realism. A little more pre-planning focus. You've got to case things better. You've got to understand what you're going into. And maybe pay attention to some of the big games coming out, Metal Gear Solid. See what they do with their stealth mechanics. How they make things a little different, how they make interaction with the AI better. Now, don't forget, in Payday there's limited AI interaction. One of the things that I've always liked, you can shoot a camera out. The best example, shoot a camera out in the bank level. And a guard will go and check it out, and it's a way to bait a guard forward. It's good, it makes sense. You can work it out through your knowledge of game mechanics, how things tend to work, the way the world works. Once you've understood, having checked out the layer of the bank, there's a camera guy set up here, if I shoot this, I'm surely they're going to have to set a patrol on me. There's no way they're just going to set the alarm off, and so that's how it functions. More of that, please. That is great. It's a tiny little detail, but when developed upon, it can make for an amazing and intuitive experience. And I'd love to see more of that into the future. Now, I've clearly been talking for a long time because my my TV screen, which I do play my PC games and my Xbox games on a TV screen. It's awful. Sometimes why the resolution's so awful. And it's part of the reason why I think I thought initially that Crime Wave maybe looked a bit better than the PC version. Now I believe they look basically identical, with the PC having the advantage of the frame rate. But yeah, because of my odd resolution on the TV, things looked strange. But like I said, the screen went blank. I've been talking for way too long. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll do my best to comment. Like I said, I'm away, but I will have internet. I'm bringing my laptop with me. I'll do my best to comment and chat about these sort of things. Because the development of Overkill's games are really important to me, to the channel, both as a YouTuber and a huge fan of their games. Moving on into the future, nearer, we've got Payday Con. Are we going to be able to attract maybe international attention? Obviously, we can't compete with Minecon, but what are the sort of numbers we can get to Vegas? It seems a shame that it's all the way over there, and the only guys who can win the prizes to go the guys in America, but it's certainly a step in the right direction for making Payday a more of a household name, because we saw it on the Steam sale this year, or this summer. They had the little clicker mini game. We had Payday characters there. The masks are becoming more and more recognizable, and I think that's great for our game and for the future of the company that makes our game. So it's all trending upwards, if you ask me. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Stay tuned, some live commentaries and things coming out later on in the couple of weeks I'm away. Thanks, I'll see you on the next one.
History! Go faster! There, almost there.
No one will look twice at us in this ride. Get in!
Good work. We've got a ton of info that needs to be looked through. Enough to track down that backstabbing wanker. Fuck me, I can't believe someone ratted me out. And they're willing to drop you into it too. We'll deal with that rat. I'll be in touch.